Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to solve O-Levels Additional Mathematics Paper 2 in a session May-June 2018 Paper 2-1. So let's start with the first question. Question number 1, A, B and C are subsets of same universal set. Number 1, write each of the following statements in words. Number A is not a proper subset of B. A is not a proper subset of B. Now for part B, A intersection C equals to phi. It means intersection of A and C is an empty set, or we can say that the set A and the set C are mutually exclusive. Intersection of A and C is an empty set. Right, now for number 2, write each of the following statements in set notation. Number A, there are 3 elements in set A or B or both. So we can say that the number of elements in the set A union B is equals to 3. There are 3 elements in a set A or B or both. Now for part B, X is element of A, but it is not an element of C. So we can say that X belongs to, it is an element of A intersection C complement. Right. Question number 2, the variables X and Y are such that Y equals to natural log of 3X minus 1 for X is greater than 1 by 3. Number 1, find dy by dx. Okay. Dy over dx is equals to natural derivative of natural log is 1 over 3x minus 1, and the derivative of 3x minus 1 is 3. So the answer is 3 over 3x minus 1. Right. Now for the second part, hence find the approximate change in x as y increases from natural log of 1.2 to natural log of 1.2 plus 0.125, right? As y increases, right? So at y equals to natural log of 1.2, what is your x value? Put over here. So we can say that natural log of 1.2 equals to natural log of 3x minus 1. Why cancel natural log on both sides? We can say 1.2 is equals to 3x minus 1, and 1.2 add 1 divide 3 is equals to your x value, right? Let me simplify this. 1.2 plus 1 divides 3 is 11 over 15. So the x value is 11 by 15. We need to find the approximate change in x when y increases. It means we have to find dx over dy at x is equals to 11 by 15 and multiply the answer by 0.125, right? We have dy by dx where we do the reciprocal, right? So we can say 1 over 3 by 3x minus 1 times 0.125, right? So we have to do the reciprocal. So 3 times 11 over 15 minus 1 divides 3 times 0.125, right? Let me simplify. 11 by 15 times by 3, subtract 1, divide 3 times 0.125. So the answer is 1 by 20 or 0.05. 0.05 is the approximate change in x. Question number 3, a 7-character password is to be selected from the 12 characters shown in the table. Each character may be used only once. We have characters, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, and digits. Find the number of different passwords. We have to make a 7-character password and total characters are 12, right? Number 1, if there is no restriction, right? So we have to make a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there is no restriction. It means for the first digit we have 12 options, and then 11 options, 10 options, then 9, 8, 7 and 6 options, Let me find. 12 times 11 times 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. This is equals to 3991680. 7 correct passwords we can make. Now for the second part, that start with a digit, and how many digits we have? 1 2 3 4. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Again 7 character password. It starts with a digit. We have 4 options for the first digit, right? Because there are 4 digits, right? And then let me use 2. Then how many options are left? For the second digit, 11 options are left, and then 10, 9, 8, 7, and 6 options are left, right? So we can say 4 times 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. This is 1 3 3 0 5 6 0. Right, now for part 3, that contains 4 uppercase letters and 3 lowercase letters, and total are 7, such that all uppercase letters are together and all lowercase letters are together. So whenever we have a question of things that are together, so we have to use a fundamental principle of counting. So we are using uppercase letters and the lowercase letters. As you can see, we have 4 uppercase letters and 4 lowercase letters, and they're using together. So 4 factorial for uppercase letters times 4 factorial for lowercase letters time 2. We are times by 2 because there are 2 combinations we're using for upper and the lower. Okay, so what is 4 factorial? 4 factorial is 24 times 24 times 2. 1152. 7 correct passwords we can make. Question number 4, do not use a calculator in this question. It is given that x plus 4 is a factor of the polynomial. So x plus 4 is a factor, so it means p of minus 4 is equals to 0. When p of x is divided by x minus 1, so p of 1, the remainder is b. This is equals to b. Number 1, show that a is minus 23 and find the value of the constant b. So first let me use this condition that p of minus 4 is equals to 0 and solve for a, right? Okay, so we have 2 minus 4 whole cube plus 3 minus 4 square plus a times minus 4 minus 12. This is equals to 0, right? 2 and 4 cube is minus 64 plus 3, 4 square is 16, minus 4a minus 12 equals to 0. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8 and 2 times 6 is 12, minus 128 plus 3 times 6 is 18, 1 8, and 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 4, 48. Minus 4a minus 12, this is equals to 0. So negative 4a, let me add 128 and negative 12 and then 48, right? So 128 and 12. So we have 0, 4 and 1. So 140 and subtract 48. So from 140 take away 48. You have 3 here. 10 minus 8 is equals to 2. And 13 minus 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is 9. So this is negative of 92 equals to 0, right? So negative 4a equals to 92, and a value is 92 divides negative 4. Right, so we can say 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 3 is 12. So negative of 23. Right, now the second part of the question says we have to find the constant value of b as well. Okay, so for b, let me use this condition that p of 1 is equals to b. So p of 1 is equals to b. P of 1 is 2 plus 3 plus a minus 12 equals to b. So 2 plus 3 is 5, minus 23 minus 12 equals to b. 5 minus 23 minus 12. So 23 plus 12, this is 5 and this is 3, 35. This is equals to b, so the b value is negative of 30. Right. Now for part b, second part, factorize p of x completely and hence state all solutions of p of x equals to 0. Right. So the polynomial p of x is equals to 2x cube plus 3x square minus 23x minus 12, and we have given the information that x plus 4 is a factor. So let me use a synthetic division method here. It is a cubic polynomial, so it has 3 roots. Right. Okay. So the coefficients are x2, 3, negative 23, and negative of 12. 4 is a factor, minus 4 is a factor. So bring the 2 down. 4 times 2 is 8, negative 8. And negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. Negative 4 times negative 5 is 20. And 20 minus 23 is negative 3. Negative times negative is positive. 4 times 3 is 12. And this is 0. So these are the coefficients for the quadratic equation, right? So we have a polynomial p of x as x plus 4, and 2 is a coefficient of x here, minus 5 is a coefficient of x, and 3 is a constant term, negative 3. Let me factorize this, right? Oh, calculator is not allowed. Okay, so 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 1 times negative 6 is negative 6. And 1 minus 6 is minus 5. Let me break the midterm. So we have p of x is equals to x plus 4, 2x square plus x minus 6x minus 3. Now the polynomial p of x is going to be x plus 4. And let me take x common. We have 2x plus 1, and taking negative 3 common, 2x plus 1. Okay, to simplify further, it is x plus 4 and x minus 3 and 2x plus 1. Right, now we have to state all the solution when the polynomial equals to 0. So we have to put p of x equals to 0. So we can say x plus 4, x minus 3, and 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. So what are the x values? X equals to negative 4, x is equals to 3, and x is equals to negative 1 by 2. Right. Question number 5. The function f is defined by f of x equals to this for x is greater than 2.5. Number 1, find an expression for f inverse of x. So we can put y is equals to f of x, that is 1 by 2x minus 5. And then we have to switch the variables. X is equals to 1 by 2y minus 5, right? And we can shift the positions. We can say 2 by minus 5 is equals to 1 by x, right? And then we can say what is y? So 2y is equals to 1 by x plus 5, and y equals to 1 by 2 into 1 by x plus 5. This is your f inverse of x, right? Now for the second part, state the domain of f inverse. So the domain of f inverse is basically the range of f of x. So let me find the range of the function, and we can easily state the domain. So the domain of f of x, we have given that x values are greater than 2.5. So let me check at x equals to 3. So we have 2 times 3 minus 5, and the reciprocal 1 by 1 is just 1. It is positive. Let me check at 4. 2 times 4 minus 5 is 3. So the reciprocal is 1 by 3. This is positive. So means all the output values are greater than 0. Range is greater than 0. So we can say the domain of f inverse of x is, we are using domain. So x is greater than 0. Right. Now for the third part, find an expression for f square of x. F square of x means f composition f. Giving your answer in the form of ax plus b over cx plus d, where a, b, c, and d are integers to be found. Right. So f of x. We have f, and f of x is 1 over 2x minus 5. And here we have 1 over 2 times 1 over 2x minus 5 and minus 5. Right. Let me simplify it further. This is f square of x. We have 1 whole divided by, we have 2 divides 2x minus 5 minus 5. Right. And for further simplification, f square of x is equals to 1 divides, taking LCM, we have 2 minus 5 is multiplying with 2x minus 5 and divides 2x minus 5. Now we can do the reciprocal. 2x minus 5 divides 2 minus 10x plus 25. So the simplified answer is 2x minus 5 divides minus 10x plus 27. This is in the form of ax plus b over cx plus d. Question number 6. In the diagram, AOB and DOC are sectors of a circle centered at O. The angle AOB is x radians. The length of arc AB is 40 centimeter and the radius OB is 16 centimeter. Number 1, find the value of x. Okay, so we have given the arc length. So we have to use a formula for arc length is, this is in radians. So the formula for arc length is radius times theta. So we have given the arc length is 40. So arc length is 40. This is equals to radius. This is 16 and theta is x radians, right? To solve for x, we do 40 divide 16. Okay, 40 divide 16. This is equals to 2.5 radians. 2.5 radians, right? Now for the second part, find the area of a sector AOB. AOB, right? So area of a sector area has a formula that is 1 by 2 radius square theta, right? So we have half. Radius of the sector AOB is 16 square and theta is 2.5 radians, right? So we can say 2.5 times 16 square dividing by 2, this is 320 centimeter square is the area. Now for part 3, given that the area of the shaded region ABCD is 140 centimeter square, find the length of OC, right? This is a shaded region A, B, C and D. This area is 140 and we have to find OC. So as you can see, the shaded area is basically area of a larger sector subtract area of a smaller sector, right? So let me write it down that the shaded area is sector AOB subtract the sector DOC because this is not shaded, right? Shaded area we have given is 140. We got the area of AOB from the second part, that is 320. Subtract half radius square theta. Radius is OC square and theta is the same 2.5 radians, right? Let me solve for OC. Okay, shifting this term on this side, 1 by 2 OC square into 2.5, this is equals to 320 subtract 140, right? 320 take away 140, this is 180. So we have 180. So OC square is equals to 180 times 2 by 2.5, right? Times by 2 divides 2.5, this is 144. And to get OC, we do the square root. So OC is the square root of 144 and 144 is the square root of 12, yes. So 12 centimeter is the radius or the length of OC. Question number 7, differentiate with respect to x. Number 1, 4x tan x. So we have to apply the product rule here. The first term is as it is, derivative of the second function plus the second function is as it is, tan x, and the derivative of the first function 4x, right? So we have 4x, tan derivative is secant square of x plus tan x and the derivative of 4x is just 4. Simplify, we have secant square, 4x secant square x plus 4 tan x, right? Now for the second part, again we have to differentiate this with respect to x. So we have to use a quotient rule, that the denominator function, the derivative of the numerator function e power 3x plus 1 minus the numerator function and the derivative of the denominator function right? And whole divided by the square of the denominator function. That is x square minus 1 whole square. Okay, let me simplify this further. This is going to be x square minus 1. Its derivative is e power 3x plus 1, and the derivative of 3x plus 1 is 3. Minus e power 3x plus 1, and its derivative is 2x, right? And divided by x square minus 1 whole square. Okay, for this simplification, let me take e power 3x plus 1 common because it is in both terms. We have 3x square minus 3 minus 2x, and then divide it by x square minus 1 whole square. Question number 8. An experiment was carried out recording the values of y for certain values of x. The variables x and y are thought to be connected by the relation y equals to a x exponent n, where a and n are constants. Number 1. Transform the relation y equals to ax exponent n into the straight line form. So the straight line form is y equals to mx plus c form, basically, right? So we can take a natural log or common log on both sides. But as you can see, natural log of y and natural log of x are connected. So we have to use natural log on both sides, right? Let me apply natural log on both sides. Ln of y is equals to ln of a x exponent n. This is ln of y equals to ln of a plus ln of x exponent n. And apply the power law here. So ln of y equals to ln of a plus n ln of x. And in the straight line form, this is ln of y equals to n ln x plus ln a, right? So this n is the slope, and this is the y-intercept, right? The values of ln y and ln x were plotted and a straight line, a line of best way drawn. This is shown in the diagram below, right? Number 2, use the graph to find the value of a and of n, stating the coordinates of the point that you use. Okay, so as you can see, ln of a is the y-intercept. So what is a y-intercept here? Y-intercept of the straight line of best fit. This is 4, 4.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 4.7. 4.7 is a y-intercept, and in our case the y-intercept is ln of a. So we can say that ln of a is equals to the y-intercept, that is 4.7. And what is a? A is e power 4.7, right? Let me simplify e power 4.7. This is 109.9 or 110. So e equals to 110, right? Now the second thing is we need to solve for n, and n is the slope, right? So we need the coordinates for the slope, and we know the formula for the slope. N is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so we already have the coordinate, the y-intercept. So if I use this coordinate, x coordinate is 0 and the y coordinate is 4.7, and let me take any other point on the curve. If I can take this point, x is equals to 6 here, and what is the y coordinate? The y is this. This is 3.2. Right, so we have the other coordinate is 6 and 3.2. Right, let me substitute into the slope formula. Right, n equals to y2 minus y1, 3.2 minus 4.7 over x2 minus x1, that is 6 minus 0. Okay, 3.2 minus 4.7, divide 6 is negative 0.25. N is minus 0.25, right? Now for part 3, find the value of x when y is equals to 50, right? So we have the equation natural log of y equals to n times natural log of x plus natural log of a. This equation we have, right? So substitute y equals to 50. So natural log of 50 equals to, n is negative 0.25, natural log of x plus natural log of a is 4.7, right? Or we can say natural log of 50, subtract 4.7, divides negative 0.25, this is equals to natural log of x. And to solve for x, we do e power of this answer, right? So natural log 50 minus 4.7 and divide minus 0.25. Okay, and 3.15 and e power answer is 23.38, or x is 23.4. Question number 9, part 1. Express the standard form of the quadratic equation into the vertex form where p, q, r are constants. Okay, there are a few steps to convert the standard form to vertex form. So let's do it step by step. Right. So in the first step, we have to take the coefficient of x square common from the first and the second term. So the coefficient of x square is equals to 5. Let me take 5 common from the first and the second term. So we have x square minus 14 divide 5x, and 3 is outside, negative 3 is outside, right? Now in the next step, we have to take the coefficient of x and divide it by 2. So the coefficient of x is minus 14 by 5 divided by 2 and take its whole square, right? So what is negative 14 by 5 divided by 2? That is equals to negative 7 by 5. So we have to take its square. 49 by 25. So we have 5, we add and subtract inside the bracket. So x square minus 14 by 5 plus 49 by 25 and minus 49 by 25, and negative 3 is outside, right? Now what we have to do, we need to take this outside. So we have 5 x square minus 14 by 5x x here plus 49 by 5. The plus term is inside, and take the negative term outside, minus 3, and minus 49 by 25 times by 5, right? So close the bracket. So we have 5, this is x minus 7 by 5 whole square, and this is 5 times 5 is 25, minus 49 divides 5, and minus 3, minus 64 by 5. This is a vertex form. Now for the second part, sketch the graph of the function on the axis below. Show clearly any point where your graph meets the coordinate axis. So basically we need to find the x and the y intercept of this function first, right? Okay, so let me solve for x-intercept. X-intercepts are the points when the y-coordinate is equals to 0. So when y is equals to 0, we have 5x square minus 14x minus 3 is equals to 0, and taking its absolute at that, right? So it's a quadratic equation. Factorize it. We have 5 times minus 3 is 15. 1 times minus 15, and 1 minus 15 is negative 14. 5x square minus x minus 15x minus 3 is equals to 0. Taking x common, 5x minus 1, taking negative 3 common. Sorry, this is plus. Yes, this is plus. And taking negative 3 common, yes, 5x plus 1 equals to 0. So the factors are x minus 3 and 5x plus 1 is equals to 0. X-intercepts are x equals to 3 and x is equals to minus 1 by 5. Minus 1 divides 5 is negative 0.2. Right. Let me plot the x-intercepts first. Okay, so we have 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. And let me label the y as well. 1, 2, 3. Right. Now let me do the y-intercept. Now y-intercept is a point when the x-coordinate is equals to 0, right? So the x-coordinate is equals to 0, y equals to 0, 0, and absolute of -3, right? So y is equals to absolute of -3, so y equals to 3, right? So if I can say this is 1, 2, and 3, this is here we have -0.2, and let's say this y-intercept is 3, right? So we have to draw the parabola, right? And its opening is upward, and because we have absolute value function, right? So let me draw the parabola first. Okay, make sure it passes through your intercepts. Yes, this is the shape of the parabola, and it is an absolute value function, so we have to draw the lines on both ends of the curve. So this is a graph of the given function, right? Right, okay, now the next part, number 3, state the set of values of k for which this absolute value function is equals to k has exactly 4 solutions. So this is y, means y equals to k has 4 solutions. So which line we have to draw we will get the 4 solutions. So from the first part, we know that the vertex of this function is 7 by 5 and -64 by 5, but the y coordinate of the vertex is absolute, right? This is absolute value function, so it is +64 by 5. So we have this vertex, this point is, we have, let's say, positive, this y point is 64 by 5, right? So when we draw the line between y equals to 0 to y equals to 64 by 5, we will get 4 solutions. The straight line intersect the curve, the graph at 4 points, right? So we can say the set of values of k are when k is between 0 to 64 by 5. Question number 10. A particle moves in a straight line such that its displacement s meter from a fixed point O at time t second is given by this, where t is greater than equals to 0. The particle is initially at rest, means at t is equals to 0, the particle is at rest. Number 1, find the exact value of t when particle is next at rest, right? So the particle is next at rest when the velocity of the particle is equals to 0. Right? So we have displacement. The velocity is the derivative of displacement with respect to time. Okay, so the derivative of 4 is 0. Derivative of cos is minus sine 3t into 3. So this is -3 sine 3t. So we have to put the velocity equals to 0 to solve for time. So -3 divides with 0 is just 0. So we can say sine of 3t is equals to 0, and from here 3t is equals to sine inverse of 0, right? Let me solve sine inverse of 0. Sine inverse of 0 is 0, so this 3t is equals to 0, right? And we know that sine is positive in the first and the second quadrant. Let me draw this, right? ASTC. So it is positive in the first and in the second quadrant. So for the second quadrant, we have an operation that is pi minus theta, right? So we have two values for t. We can say that 3t is equals to 0, or 3t is equals to pi minus 0, that is pi. So from here time is 0, and from here time equals to pi by 3. So the particle is next at rest as pi equals to t equals to pi by 3. It is already at rest at t equals to 0. That this point we have given. So the next point is pi by 3. Now for the second part, find the distance traveled by the particle between t equals to pi by 4 to t equals to pi by 2 seconds. So the distance traveled is sum of displacements. Right, so we have the interval between pi by 4 and pi by 2. So in pi by 4 and pi by 2, we have pi by 3, and at pi by 3, the particle is at rest. Okay, so let me break this interval. So the first, let's say this point is pi by 4, then we have pi by 3, and then pi by 2. So we need to find the displacement d1 and then d2, and then we can sum both of them to find the distance traveled. So d1, we can find the displacement at pi by 4 and the difference of the displacement minus the displacement at pi by 3. Right, this is your d1. So the d1 is displacement at pi by 4. So what is the displacement? We have 4 cos 3t, right? So 4 cos 3, sorry, this is 4 plus, right? Okay, pi by 4 negative the difference of the two displacements, right, is d1. Okay, now 4 plus cos 3 pi by 3. D1 is, right, cos 3 pi divides 4 plus 4 is 3.29. Subtract. We have 3 is cancelled with 3, cos pi and plus 4, this is 3, so negative 3. So this d1 is equals to 3.29 minus 3 is just 0.29. This is your first displacement, right? Now let me find the second displacement between the time interval pi by 3 and pi by 2. So we can say d2 is s at pi by 3 minus s at pi by 2. So d2 is, we already got this, that is 4 plus cos 3 pi by 3 minus 4 plus cos 3 pi by 2. Right, so d2, this is equals to negative of 3 and negative cos 3 pi divides 2 and plus 4. So we have negative 4, right? No, this is not negative 3, this is positive, minus 3 and plus 1 is 4. Okay, so this displacement is negative 1, right? So we need to find the distance traveled. So the total distance traveled is a sum of displacements, the displacement 1 and the displacement 2. So the displacement 1 is 0.29 and it is never be negative, so we add 1, this is 1.29. is a distance traveled by the particle between pi by 4 to pi by 2 seconds. Now for part 3, find the greatest acceleration of the particle. Greatest acceleration of the particle is a point when the velocity of the particle is equals to 0. And we know that the velocity of particle is 0 at time equals to pi by 3. At t equals to pi by 3. So we have to find acceleration at pi by 3, right? So the acceleration is the derivative of velocity with respect to time. So the derivative of v is minus 3 sine 3t. Right, so acceleration is negative 3, sine derivative is cos 3t times 3, so this is negative 9 cos 3t. So time is pi by 3, acceleration at t equals to pi by 3 is equals to negative 9 cos 3 pi by 3, we can cancel the 3 and cos pi is minus 1, minus 9 minus 1 is equals to 9. So this is the greatest acceleration of the particle. Question number 11, part A. Solve this equation for x is between 0 to 360 degree. Okay, so cos square x is 1 minus sine square x. We can say 10, 1 minus sine square x plus 3 sine x minus 9 equals to 0. 10 minus 10 sine square x plus 3 sine x minus 9 equals to 0. So we have negative 10 sine square x plus 3 sine x. 10 minus 9 is plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, now let me take, just factorize. Negative 10 times 1 is negative 10, and we can say 1 times minus 10 is minus 10. Okay, 2 times 5 is 10, and 5 minus 2 is 3. Yes. Minus 10 sine square x plus 5 sine x minus 2 sine x plus 1 is equals to 0, right? Okay, let me take 5 and sine x common. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10, minus 2 sine x is left, and plus 1 is left. Let me take plus 1 common, minus 2 sine x plus 1 equals to 0. So the two factors are minus 2 sine x plus 1 and 5 sine x plus 1 equals to 0. Right. Now we have two values for sine. The first value is sine x is equals to 1 by 2, the positive one, and sine x equals to minus 1 by 5, the negative one, right? So we have to solve for positive one, both. X equals to sine inverse of 1 by 2, it is in degrees. So let me convert my calculator into degrees first. So sine inverse of 1 divides 2. This is 30 degrees. And solve for the positive here as well. Sine inverse of 1 by 5. 11.53, 11.54. 4 degrees, right? Now we have to check that sine is positive and negative in which quadrant, right? So as you can see, we have A, S, T, C. So sine is positive in the first and in the second quadrant. Here we do 180 minus the x value, 180 plus x value, and 360 minus x value, right? Now from the first we know that sine is positive, so sine is positive in the first and in the second quadrant, right? So we have the two values for sine from the first factor. So for the first quadrant, x is equals to 30 degree, and for the second, 180 minus 30, this is 150 degree, right? And x is equals to, sine is negative in the third and the fourth quadrant, so x is 11.54, right? So 180 plus 11.54, this is equals to 191.5 degrees, and we do 360 minus x, 360 minus 11.54, this is 348.5 degrees. So these are the values of x that lies in the given domain. Now for the part B, we have to solve this equation for y is between 0 to pi radians, right? So here we can say 3 tangent is sine 2 pi over cos 2 pi equals to 4 sine 2 pi, 2y, right? Okay, so for cross multiplication, we have 3 sine 2y equals to 4 sine 2y cos 2y, right? Okay, let me shift this terms over here. So we can say 4 sine 2y cos 2y minus 3 sine 2y equals to 0. Let me take sine 2y common. We have 4 cos 2y minus 3 is equals to 0. Again, we have two factors. The first is sine 2y equals to 0, and the other is cos 2y equals to 3 by 4. So both are positive, right? So let me solve for 2y is equals to sine inverse of 0, right? In radians. Domain is in radians. Convert the calculator into radians, right? Sine inverse of 0 is 0, right? And we know that from 0 to pi, we have sine is positive in the first and in the second quadrant. So for the second quadrant, we do pi minus 0. So the other value is just pi. So the y is 0 by 2, that is 0, and y is pi by 2. So these are the two values of pi. Now let me check for the cos. So from here, 2y is equals to cos inverse of 3 by 4. Cos inverse 3 divides 4. This is equals to 0 0.722. 0 0.723. Right. Okay, and cos is positive in the first and in the fourth quadrant. Right. For the fourth quadrant, we can say this is 360 minus 360, that is 2 pi. 2 pi minus answer 5.560. 5.560. Right, and the y value is, we can say 0 0.723 divides 2. This is equals to 0 0.3615, 0 0.362, and 5.560 divided by 2. This is 2.78. 2.78. Right, so these are the values of y. Now as you can see, the domain is between 0 to pi radians. So this 0 does not belong to the domain because there is no equality on 0, and pi is basically 3.14. So pi by 2 is half of pi. 0 0.3 is also in the domain. 2.78 is also in the domain. So we can say the only values of y that satisfy the domain is pi by 2, 0 0.36, and 2.78 belongs to the domain. These values satisfies the domain. Question number 12. In this question, all lengths are in meters. A water container is in the shape of the triangular prism. The diagram shows the container and its cross-section. The cross-section of water in the container is an isosceles triangle ABC with angle ABC and angle BAC is 30 degree. This angle is also 30 degree. And the two sides are same. The length of AB is x. A to B, the length is x. The depth of the water is h. This depth is h. Okay, so this is x by 2 and this is x by 2, half. The length of the container is 5. Number 1, show that x equals to this, and hence find the volume of the water in the container in terms of h. So first we have to solve for x. So we have a right angle triangle. So we have to use SOHCAHTOA. We have angle and this side, and we have to solve for h. So if we do opposite over adjacent, we use the tangent ratio. So we can say tan 30 is opposite over adjacent. Opposite is 30 and adjacent is x by 2. Opposite is h and adjacent is x by 2. We have to solve for x from here. Okay, so tan 30, what is converted into degrees, and tangent of 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 3, or 1 by square root of 3, right? So this is square root of 3 divides 3 times x by 2 equals to h, right? And to solve for x, what we have to do, we have x equals to, we can say this is 2 times 3 divide square root of 3 and h. So this is square root of 3, 2 square root of 3, yes. This is 2. We can write 3 as square root of 3 times square root of 3 divide square root of 3 and h. So we can cancel square root of 3 and x is equals to 2 square root of 3h. Exactly the same. Now let me find the volume of water in the container. So volume of a container is area of cross section times the length of the container, right? Area of a cross section, so this is the area of a triangle ABC, that is half base times height. Base is the x value and height is the h, right? So the volume of container is half, the base is h, and the height is h and the base is x, times the length of the container is 5. So let me substitute x value over here. Volume of a container is 1 by 2 square root of 3 h and h times by 5, right? So we can cancel the 2 and we have 5 square root of 3 h square. Volume of a water in a container is 5 square root of 3 h scale. Now for the second part, the container is filled at a rate of 0.5 meter cube per minute. Container is filled means the volume, and this minute says the time. So the rate, it means dv over dt, we have given that is 0.5. At the instant when h value is 0.25 meters, find the rate at which h is increasing, means dh over dt. We have to find dh over dt is equals to dh over dv times dv over dt. Right. Now the dv by dt we have given is 0.5. So the v we got from the first part is 5 square root of 3 h scale. Right. This is 5 square root of 3 h scale. Now let me differentiate v with respect to h. dv over dh. This is 2 times 5 is 10 square root of 3 h. Right. And when h is 0.25, what is dv over dh at h is equals to 0.25. Okay. Let me simplify. This is 10 times square root of 3 and times 0.25. Or we can say 5 square root of 3 by 2. Right. Or if I convert it into decimal, this is 4.330. Now let me substitute the value over here. So dh over dt is dh over dv. This is dv by dh, so we have to do the reciprocal. This is 1 over 4.330 times v derivative with respect to t, 0.5. Right. So we can say 0.5 divides answer. This is equals to 0.1155. So dh over dt, the rate at which h is increasing is 0.1155. Now for part B, the rate at which we need to, the same part, we have to find the rate at which x is increasing, means dx over dt we have to solve. So dx over dt. So we can say dx over dv, not dv. Let me check. X is a function of, this is x is a function of h, right? Dx over dh times dh over dt. Right. Okay. So this is your x value. This is 2 square root of 3h. Let me find x, derivative of x with respect to h. This is just 2 square root of 3, right? So dx over dt is dx over dh, that is 2 square root of 3 times h derivative with respect to t is equals to this 0.1155. Right. Okay, so this is 2 square root of 3 times 0.1155, 0.400. Right. So this is a rate at which x is increasing. So that was the last question of our paper. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care.